So you want to start with a device to have your MP3s on. All the Puppet content is on MP3. You could either use just an iPod Nano, an iTouch or an iPhone, or an iPad, or just any MP3 player will work. But you just want to make sure you have all your content on your device, and then also have the ability to make a playlist, because it really helps to have all your programming in order of the way you're going to do it. Here's an example of a playlist I have on my iPad. It's all ready to go. And the cool thing about the iPad is you can create a playlist on the fly. So if anything changes, or when you get with your VBS team in the morning and discuss the order of things, you can go ahead on the fly, create your playlist. Once you have your content on any of these devices, you need amplification. These are different amps you could use. They're both, all of these are actually battery powered. This one's a little small. What I do is I like to have a monitor behind the curtain, because a lot of the programming, well, all the programming we do is in Portuguese. And if your team is new at the material, it helps to have a speaker behind the stage so you can actually hear. Either of these speakers work fine for the front of the stage. They both get pretty loud, and they all are battery powered. They take 6 AA batteries that are rechargeable. I just use the rechargeable ones. You know, every morning before you go out in the village, you want to make sure that your amps are charged. On these, I could usually get a couple days use out of them before I charge the batteries. Another benefit of having the amps is when your puppet performance is over and the kids are coloring or doing a craft, you can play some music in Portuguese for the kids. You know, you need to have some cables in order to hook your device with your MP3s on it to your amps. So it all depends on which amps you're using. But both of these have an option for a 1/4 inch input, or it has an option for an auxiliary input in the back. Either way is fine. If you use the input on the front of the amp, you can control the volume here. If you use the auxiliary input, you control the volume on your device, your Nano or iPod. So, you know, I'll connect this splitter into the Nano. One of these is going to go to the front amp, and one of the cables is going to go to the monitor I'm going to have in back. So there's just a splitter I'm using to get the signal to go to 2 different places. And then all you have to do is plug, there's my monitor, and I can either go into the auxiliary here in the back, you know, to ensure that your team has what you need. You know, I prefer to bring everything myself, you know, but you know, there is equipment on the boat, but I wouldn't count on it being there. So I'm just sure that I have a device to play my MP3s on, all my cables that I need, and an amp, you know, at least 1 amp. And it's helpful to have a monitor behind the stage, you know, depending on how much practice your team has done. If your team's comfortable with the material, you may not need an amp behind, or a little speaker behind the stage. Have your leader contact Amazon Outreach to get the programming. We have songs in Portuguese that we do with the puppets with the kids, and skits. With the puppet songs, you know, a lot of the songs have different parts, so you're going to have to listen to them before you do the performance. You know, there's different solos. Some of the songs have a lead puppet singing, and then others puppet singing in unison. There's different songs that we do.